Okay, well, I just want to do a quick video on how to record guitars in Cubasis while maintaining a DI track. This is mainly if you're working with like a mix engineer or they've sent you stuff that you're tracking at home. I'm seeing a lot of guys do this now that may only have an iPad and not a full-blown DAW. So to do this, you're going to need basically 5 different things, okay, to start out with. And this is going to be the first part of a 3-part video, which will cover all the topics needed to really do this. Okay, so the first thing you need is one of these things. This is basically a guitar interface. This is the Apogee Jam. In general, you want to get one of the ones that use the 30-pin connector, okay, or the lightning connector on the newer iPads. Basically, you want the ones that say HD, something like that, the iRig HD, the iTrack Solo, the Apogee Jam, something like that, about in the $100 range. The ones that are cheaper that plug into the audio jack, you don't really want those. They work, but they're not the best quality. These ones are powered, have the right impedance, and really give you the best quality. The next thing you're going to need is some type of guitar simulator software, like JamUp Pro is what I use. There's Amplitude, there's Bias, there's a few others out there. There's AmpLink, Then the other thing you're going to need is AudioBus, which connects that to Cubasis. Then Dropbox, which is what you can use to get the files in and out to transfer to somebody else. And then, of course, Cubasis itself. Okay, so to start out, let's go ahead and fire up JamUp Pro. And again, this could be anything you want. Okay, some real quick for setup. I have background mode turned off, which you're going to have to check whatever you're using, and I have it set to ultra low latency. The other thing I have is I have the input channel set to the channel that I have. Mine's a mono interface, so it's the same no matter what. But like the iTrack Solo, there's inputs 1 and 2. Guitar is actually on the second input. So let's try this out. Cool. Now you can tweak this to your heart's content. I'm pretty happy with this tone that I've dialed in already. All right, so go back to the home screen. Then we'll fire up Cubasis. Okay, so now the way I like to do this is I go ahead and start a new project right away. So we'll do create new project, and we'll go ahead and name it iPad Demo. Okay, so now from here, I still have access to the inputs. So let's go ahead and close this, and we'll go ahead and add a track. Okay, now if you go into here, you can see the routing, for the mono input. Mine's mono, so that's good there. And then if you have a multi-channel interface, you have this interface here by pushing the number. So mine's the first one because it's mono, but let's say you have 2 or whatever, you can switch to the different input that way. Okay, so now if we listen to this, it's just the clean guitar. Now that's actually what we want to send to somebody else for mixing. I mean, almost every mixing engineer is going to want you to take a DI of your tracks, no matter how good your amp simulator is. Okay, so let's go ahead and name this by pressing there. We'll name this GDI for short. Okay, so now we got to connect JamUp to this. So we'll use that. We'll use AudioBus to do that. Okay, so the input, let's go ahead and select an input. That'll be JamUp Pro XT. Then on the other side, we'll go ahead and start up Cubasis. Okay, and this one has the little icon that says tap to launch. Let's go ahead and launch it. Okay, and there we go. Go back over here to Cubase. Okay, now we're still hearing the clean tone, so all you have to do is turn this off. Okay. So now, coming back into AudioBus, this is where we want to set the latency. So I have it set to 256. It comes default with 512. 128 can be too slow, too much, and your iPad's going to struggle a little bit. So it's going to do 256, and that'll go ahead and set it to both of them, so that way they're the same, so you don't really feel any latency. And the setup over here, you want to make sure, now the bit depth here is 16. Some engineers are going to want them to be 24. I don't think for DIs it really matters, but let's go ahead and do 24 anyway. Okay, so when we record, we actually want to arm both tracks and record both. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a listen to that. Cool. And then now what you can see is I have a DI track and then I have the recorded track. Now, you know, if we want, let's go ahead and just solo this to hear what we have. And let's extend this out and then go back to the beginning. Perfect. And then we'll solo this other one to hear what we have on the other side. Excellent. So now I can just mute this one when I'm doing my mixing for, like, you know, sending the song to my bandmates or sending them to your producer to say, hey, you know, is this song cool, everything cool? You have that. But then when it's time to actually send it to for mixing, you have a DI track, which is very important for the other guy too. Now, another thing I want to mention is instead of leaving things into JamUp, I like to start another audio track. Call this one, let's just say guitar. And then take this and drag it up there. Okay, so now when I want to do my next track, this JamUp Pro track stays as my main track for tracking, and then I just add DI tracks and add guitar tracks as I go. So that way I don't have to fiddle with getting this set back up to use the input again. It's already ready to go, and I can just make new tracks for what I want. Now, if something does happen, like let's say you accidentally delete this track or something like that, you can go to your new track, and then here you can select your input, go to AudioBus, and then select JamUp Pro that way, and that'll work too. But notice how it automatically changes the name to JamUp Pro. So that's why I just kind of like to leave a track like that is constantly using that, and then put the new stuff in. So hopefully that gets you started. Again, this is the 1 out of 3 series. The next video will be how to import your track, how to import the tracks, your like stereo drum tracks or some type of stereo track for you to track over. And then the third video will be about how to get these tracks back out and sent to your engineer. So check those out right after this one.